Five. You ready, Trace?
Already.
Thank you. You can keep that one, calling meeting in order, we have a quorum. Readings and approval of the minutes, previous meeting. So moved. Second. Additions, corrections, comments. Liking in, all in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Bills, communication.
So those are all in your packet. I do have some printouts of them here. We didn't print them in every packet this time. I think the main thing to point to are the change order requests, as well as you've got your chamber invoice. And there's a review in here that all of the pilot payments have gone in and out. So those are in good shape.
Very good.
Everything else is pretty standard to a monthly bill.
Yeah, I wonder, how much was the indoor request?
Maybe 3.
Last one, right? The total amount was 8316. 8,316.57.
And Steve, if you can hear me, I'm not expecting any more bills from Highlander at this point.
Correct.
Okay, so that's gonna be our last invoice for night.
Motion to approve. Bills, can you so move?
And probably one more from CNS. Final bill from CNS.
I would think so. Well, as we're closing out some of our outstanding grants over the next few months, we are going to require their assistance as part of that.
Yeah.
So.
Got a second?
I thought it was second already, that's why I asked the question. Yeah, I'll get that out.
Further discussion of those communications. All in favor? Oh. Carries. Executive Director report, update.
So as always, you have my written report within your packet, but I do have some walk-on comments for everybody here. General updates on certain items and others probably best kept to executive session. So I'll go down some of the lists here. We did close, I'm pleased to say, on the Sunny's projects late part of November with the intent to do the full close in probably February next year. So part of the partial close was 25% of our admin fee. It was a little over $200,000, and get the remaining amounts, which will be in excess of 600,000 in about February timeline. So we're also working with them on instituting our mitigation payment. So we'll be on the phone with them probably just after the holidays, to make sure they have a really good understanding of what our requirements are. We'll be receiving those funds throughout next year. And one of the things I asked Rick and Justin to work with me on over the next month is putting together a formal policy of how we handle those funds moving forward. So it's well documented. It's not just going to sit there. It's going to be used for purposes as directed by the board, either for workforce development, economic development initiatives, and certainly a holdback for any administrative costs associated with those funds. That's on the Sunny's projects there. I believe everyone is aware of where we are on the sewer. That's an outstanding item later to be discussed, so I'll bite my tongue on that. We have started some very early work on our 2024 audit. Going into the next month, I'll be working with Tracy and her team for year-end reporting, which I believe will be in a much better place than we were over the last year. So I'm expecting that to go quite well. Some outstanding projects here. We're continuing discussions with Finger Lakes Rail. We were nearly there, but ran into a little bit of some headwinds at the 11th hour here. We're hoping to get that worked out over the next several weeks, so we can really move that project to the public hearing phase over the next month or so here.
How long were we looking at extending that?
10 years. So we're working with 4 4 other counties
Yeah.
on this project there. So we're trying to keep everything as consistent amongst the counties as best possible.
Yeah.
Been a long negotiating process since June, July of this year, and
Oh, the other one was.
it's something, but we're also at the end of their pilot, so it kind of behooves both sides to say, if we're gonna get this done, we need to get it done
So they
very,
had a
very
good
soon.
project.
Right. Right. So that's on Finger Lakes Rail there. If you recall from much earlier this year, we had started some work with Chris Kaloka, who's the current owner of the former Emily Howland School. What we've been working with him on in anticipation of an IDA application into next year is a Restore New York grant, which is due tomorrow. I've worked with Chris and the town of Scipio on putting all of that together. We had the public hearing last night. Great support from the town, a lot of attendees, everybody's in support of it, so.
I would say.
Yes. So it's very good to have that, and I'll pass along Chris's thanks to the IDA for all the support he's been given throughout this process here. So fingers crossed we're able to secure.
Total this repair.
It's better than other schools within the southern area, something like King Ferry School, which has the roof just caving in on it, so. Anything can be done to save this, turn it back into productive use, get it back on the tax rolls, create some jobs. That's the intent. So those are the high level items there. There's other areas on the report that I can speak to once we get to it, and a couple of things reserved for executive session once we get to that point. That being said, happy to answer any questions.
Well, no question, but. Behalf of myself and probably the board, that you put a lot of work into getting this. To the money from all of them. I know you and I had several conversations, and it's been a struggle with Highlander.
Yeah,
It's been a struggle.
that was a mistake.
I appreciate that. I'm knowing that this project's been going on for 6+ years. I've only really been working with you guys for 2.5, so I'm putting the champagne towards you guys today. I'm not sure if that's what you want to order to finish off your meeting today.
No, but it was you know, at the end, it was a great project.
Yep.
Mhm,
You know, it really helped the milk plant. It's gonna help the county.
mhm.
And we were fortunate to get the funding that we did. I mean, we were just. So painful, but. You know, like Ray said, we did a great job with managing it all.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And it was tough losing the engineer in the middle of the project. That. Oh, that wasn't easy either.
Glad to be able to be a part of it, and thankful for water and sewer's acceptance yesterday, so money's in the bank today.
So we can afford to pay for lunch today.
Right.
Phew, good thing.
Thank you. Report to the treasurer.
So you have your financial reports in your packet. We're getting pretty close to year end here. So you'll have a December report, obviously, at your next meeting. You can see the project fees, that is actually recognizing the full 100% of the Sun East fees. As Michael mentioned, only 25% of them came in now, so there's a big receivable on that we expect to receive in February, but it's getting booked with revenue for 2024. Not much else here to mention. Everything else is kind of in the bills. You can see that on your next set of financials, you'll see that $400,000 come off the accounts receivables. Well, not much else to say there. We'll have to work with the auditors to make sure that You'll see some things move on the balance sheet because we'll need to figure out what is revenue from that $400,000 versus, offsetting the fixed assets. So you'll see some numbers move around related to the sewer line, in the audit process, but we're gonna get their help with that because there was a lot going on and we want to make sure it's right. So, so just know that those numbers around your fixed assets will change.
Mostly it's gonna be off the books.
Yep.
It's part of your, part of water and sewer supply.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
Moved. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Unfinished business.
Well, the update on the sewer line, everybody has that, but Steve, since you're on the line. Some of the outstanding things we have to get done over the next few months here is one, getting the reimbursement from Empire State Development secured. I think we're on a good trajectory for that. Steve and I, along with Highlander, met with ESD. Was it last week or the week before?
The week before.
The week before to discuss the WMBE waiver requirements. They had a new person on staff at ESD who took over, so Highlander resubmitted prior materials that they had put forth for the waiver. We'll see how that turns out through their process. What I've been told from the main project manager, it's going before their review committee in January, where they will let us know, is there anything blocking us from getting reimbursement, the timing of which, because of all the conditions within the grant, it's going through several different committees to say, did you, execute on all of these different points, including the MWBE procurement provision. So that's one area there. With the EDA grant, this last billing we have from Highlander will be our last submission to them. And so we'll be able to wrap up on that. We'll have some continuing reporting requirements, as well as a small amount of money to be put forward into a public fund. It's 1%, it's 1/10 of 1% for the total project size, so it's a small amount, but little ongoing reporting requirements there. That being said, I can't think too much else other than, an item to probably be discussed in executive session.
Right.
Anything to add there, Steve?
Nope. I believe we forwarded on as built and all the information we were looking for to Carl. I haven't heard back. So I think he has everything. And I haven't heard any updates on his end, which is good news.
Yeah, I think we said yesterday, there's a couple little things, but nothing significant.
The last thing I had spoken with Carl about is, he said it's more of an attorney thing, is making sure the warranty transfers are properly in water and sewer's name.
Right, that shouldn't be a big deal.
Right, and we also, I provided Susan on water and sewer staff our NICEAG account, so that can also get transferred to.
Great.
Office space.
Office space, so I've been taking a look at a number of properties throughout the downtown and greater Auburn area. We're getting a range of sizes and pricing for what it looks like. One of the things that I can't say for certain for us moving forward is how does the organization potentially change going into the next year or so. So in sitting down with anybody or exploring space is how might that morph over time? And that's what's making it difficult, as well as the budget thereof. So some spaces have a great location, good size of office space, but it might not be something we can fill up ourselves. So do we look to see if we can sublet some space, but then there's some concern because of the nature of our business. A lot of it can be highly confidential through the beginning phase. So trying to figure that point out. Other spaces, good office space, but nowhere to meet. not just for the board, but for any clients coming in or hosting something like that. So it's kind of this toss up of what do you want to do? So one of the areas I've been contemplating, and I was just briefly speaking with Gina about it before we started the meeting, is whether or not we should entertain procuring space ourselves. So we have, full control over it moving forward. And no longer need to worry about what's the rent, what is it, you have it, you own it.
Well, buying property,
Yes.
I just don't know if we're there yet.
that's tough because. A year from now, that would probably be a great idea.
Right now, who knows?
Well, and that's some of the issue run, and Gina can probably get to this better than anybody else. There's very few landlords willing to do a month or, a year-long lease. Everyone's looking for a longer-term lease, so it'll give you a little greater
Well, you can't get a
flexibility.
1 year.
It's
Well,
difficult,
Yeah,
but
it's
You can,
difficult.
but
There's,
you're gonna pay more.
well,
right.
I think it's not impossible. There's probably places that would do that, but
Mhm.
just to buy some time, but
Right.
there's not a lot. You're right.
And that's been more of my thinking is I think that is the right direction to go. It's just a matter of making sure, depending on where we, hang our shingle. If we're gonna move again, it means we're changing all of our internal
Yeah.
files, mailing, everything else, which can be, pretty disruptive.
Yeah, it's too bad the CCD thing wasn't nailed down and we didn't know the direction.
Yeah, that would make a big difference.
So, I'll continue looking. What I can do over the next week is provide a full list of all the properties I've seen. Put them before you to take a look at, share your feedback here.
I do sort of like the idea of buying a place. I wonder if you should just rent something for a year,
Mhm.
even if it isn't perfect,
Mm-hmm.
with the intent that you're gonna move.
Okay,
I agree.
Then you don't have to look for the ideal spot, thinking that you're gonna be there 10 years.
mm-hmm. And then the next question becomes, do we use our own land to build it, or do we buy something itself?
Right.
So it could be either or, and certainly the 2025 calendar year would give us the opportunity to say what's in the best interest of the IDA. So,
Yeah, but it's kind of, like I said, with the CCD thing, because, do we use their staff like we were doing with CEDA, do we stay with our own?
Do we have that?
Well, not at the moment, right? I don't think. But, you've got all those open questions,
They might have staff, you don't know.
yeah. But. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but that's what I think you might better do is buy. Rent something for a year. Either it's not perfect
Get cold.
with the intent of
Yeah.
moving in a year.
so that's everything I have on that item there.
Oh, that's some good work, Mike.
Yeah.
Don't forget your grades.
Almost.
Back down, Ray, when we get a chance. Full of juice, but be careful. Be careful, there's a lot of juice there.
But have you seen some? Here for some beef spot? Have you seen some little spots?
Mhm. As I said, I'll try to put everything together. I'm waiting on a couple of different landlords to provide the floor plan layout.
Right.
So, a better visual of what it looks like. So,
Yeah.
some spots,
In there and track people.
not as described over the phone, kind of like a hole in the wall. So,
tough. When getting to the city is the tough parts of parking.
and that's one of the conditions I've been looking at is, does it also have parking?
Can
Or,
you pack the chicken?
Oh,
Sorry.
it's funny, my wife won't go downtown. Cause you got back in the park, that's just a
Yep. That's,
non-starter for,
that is the parking.
yeah. And it's funny, cause like I've backed up hay wagons and all that,
Or some.
but to back up crooked is weird.
Hey, wagon always went crooked anyhow, right? Oh.
Yeah, just. Cause we bail and we have like 3 wagons, back them in the barn and unload them in the morning,
Right.
waiting for the dew to knock off.
Administrative services. MRB and Rebel.
so these two, we more or less approved in October as part of the 2025 budget. It's continuing to work with myself and Tracy's firm throughout the 2025 year. I believe Justin Rick putting together just a simple extension for my contract, MRBs is contained herein. So unless there's any concern or objection moving forward, I think we're good to go on that. The only adjustment I had requested for my contract was simply to remove the interim, because I've been working with you guys for over a year now and looking into the next year, it's
Yeah, as long as there's no more money, that's fine.
I'm not asking for any more money.
You can be the president if you want, we're.
Well, I think the interim thing then, message to somebody.
Yes, no, exactly.
Well, that's been some of the commentary I've been receiving, and with another
You're gonna
year.
be here next time. You get that.
Yeah,
Well, that's been some of the feedback I've been receiving from a couple folks saying I thought you'd be gone by now.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, nobody else wants the job.
My only comment would be with MRB. Maybe we extend it for 6 months. Kind of depending on what we do. I mean, if we have office space and stuff like that, we might want to hire our own person, our own people.
okay,
But I don't know what other people think, but just think it keeps some options open.
Well, more so like with CCDC too, maybe there's that.
But we don't know what's gonna happen, so.
Yeah,
I agree.
I will also just note that there's a 7-day written notice out, so
There you
you can
go.
actually fire us whenever you want.
I think more of the proposal was just a high level, this is the minimum we're gonna charge per month through a 12-month period, but there is that 7-day termination period.
Fine.
yeah, I guess if there's a subsidy, then there's no need to worry about the 6 months.
I also think
Would you
it's
like
fair.
some
for them
coffee
to
or
know.
soda?
Yeah,
No, I don't. Thank you.
you need motion.
I don't think so.
I don't think so for either. They've both been previously, to my understanding, Tracy, passed. It was just more of an outstanding thing to make sure I can execute this for Tracy. So she doesn't get yelled at.
Yep, right. Oh, but you know, crazy.
Yeah.
Nomination.
So your annual officer nominations, including resolution to ratify prior adopted policy standards and procedures. I think As compared to prior years, the governance committee has talked about this. The last good few months,
Yes,
so it's more of a. Update to this here.
well, I don't think we approved it though, right, did we?
It was discussed, here. The resolution itself. Basically walks you through. Existing policies, who's on, the various committees. And all of that, and then just having a motion to say who's going to be chair, vice chair, and secretary.
Who's on the committee? You
You,
And
are done.
right,
So I think we're keeping everything the same,
yes.
with the exception that I'm gonna step down from being vice chair. This is her, right?
Oh, all right,
Is that what we're talking about?
yes,
This is all.
so Ray's chair, vice chair, Dan's treasurer. Secretary. Your secretary? No,
No, who was secretary?
Jonas,
Don is, right.
Oh,
he's
all right.
treasurer, secretary.
all right,
A motion,
Motion to approve.
second,
discussion? Favor? Opposed? Carried.
One other item while I'm thinking about it is, Bob, your term's technically up at the end of this month. So the board can make a recommendation to the county ledge.
We're the only one. That's all.
Bob's term is the only one that's on.
Oh, I thought we changed it a while back.
I'm not sure why, but Bob has a unique term. Usually going in pairs.
yeah,
Last
usually
week,
it's 2 of the year, right?
or about.
Worked great, yeah.
We must have somebody that's. Did you take somebody's place?
No, Bob took my place.
Yes.
Oh,
That's why it's 3 years now.
well, all right. We should probably look at all that.
Well, of course, I got booted in the middle of my term, so. Depends on what
I was
part
on,
you are.
I was already on.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. Yeah, I make a motion to keep Bob, recommend him to the county. Okay.
You want to stay on? Okay. We should give them an opportunity to say yes.
I wouldn't do that, but yeah, all right.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right,
Right. Now, the county has to approve it, right?
Mhm.
maybe you should give us a list of everybody's terms.
It's on our website. I can pull that up.
No, that's all right, I'll look at it later.
One of the things I'll look to send the board over the next month.
Yeah.
Is all of our meeting dates for next year as well. So I know it's on your calendar, but I think it's also helpful to just have it on a piece.
Yeah. You hate to see a lot of people go off all at once.
Tracy, the resolution itself. Can you do that?
What do you mean? Do you want me to do a roll call?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
Ratify.
thought you already voted on it, sorry.
Well, they did that for the officer positions,
And you want it for,
and this is for
The
all
policies.
of the policies, committees.
oh, okay. Ooh, I'm following.
And keeping you and I on.
Yes,
Staff
okay.
here.
Ms. Spino,
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood,
Good.
Mr. Vitale.
Yeah.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Reinflesh.
Yes.
North Central SBDC.
So I'm gonna speak to this, but I'll ask Bob to also step in a little bit, so. This is renamed, the SBDC is the Small Business Development Center, so. They've been working within Cayuga County for quite a long time, but much more so over the last few years. Their regional director, his name is Bob Griffin, I've worked with him since CETA and post CETA. Very, very good. They covered over 8 different counties. They have representatives in each. The reason they're called the North Central is they're covering what's considered the north central part, New York State. What they do is they really help the aspiring entrepreneurs and small businesses. CETA had a small business role there, but these guys, SBDC is a subset of SBA. This is all they do. This is all they focus on. They've been working over this last year between the city and Cayuga County. In lieu of some of the things going on at the county, I spoke with Ben about this in particular, is they are asking for financial assistance going into the 2025 year. Total amount is $12,500 for the entire year. That provides a person staffed within Cayuga County providing consulting and in-person services. I've referenced a number of clients to them. They've also been working to build up business plans, 2 of which will come before the IDA next year. So it's a very good working relationship we've had with them, and I think continuing to work with them going into next year will be not just our benefit, but more importantly, the benefit of Cayuga County. They also work with the city of Auburn. They're not playing any territorial stuff. It's just that they're also seeking support from the city of Auburn directly. With this,
We've never paid before.
we've never paid before, but part of this is requesting the county reimburse the IDA for paying this. And this is where I'd like to step back and ask Ben to talk a little bit.
Well, I believe they probably got paid through CETA in the past, so the county kind of paid it somehow.
Okay.
Right.
But when Mike came to me at the beginning of the month with his, I said it was kind of too late to put it on any agenda and get it paid this year in the county. So I recommended to him that we pay it as the IDA and then submit it to the county for reimbursement. I can't tell you how that would go, but I could probably
Yes.
tell you that we probably need small business
Oh, absolutely.
people here. And I don't think any of us really can afford not to do it. And I think it also puts our IDA in a better position. Move forward.
Where is their office?
So they typically or historically co-located with CETA.
That's what I thought.
They were on site 2 or 3 days a week. Where they are right now is a small room on the first floor of the chamber. So they're tucked right in there. They have expressed strong interest in co-locating with us once we find a place to go. That's their preference, and that was before this proposed arrangement came up. They would like to continue working with IDA. We have a very good relationship with them. I did also ask their director, I said, not at this meeting, but in January, to please come present to the board of what they've done, what they're able to do.
So
through
do
their-
they have the city for number 2? or-
Yes, yes. But for today, for them to have their budget put together and moving forward, they will need something passed prior to the end of the month.
There is a bit of development.
But still, it's a majority vote, so.
You work here with that now. It's only 12.
Yeah, I think we should go ahead with it, I mean.
I think it's part of our mission. To support business.
And if we could. Pay back from the county,
Great.
if not,
Well,
I didn't say that.
well, the budget looks tough from the papers even.
Well, I am very much hoping the county does pay us back. So I've already asked Tracy to put together an invoice to issue that next month. So,
Well, we'll see what happens, but I think like Ben says, it's too important.
I agree with all of the changes going on this year. To have that resource here has been a huge help. And I don't know if it's appropriate to ask Tracy to speak to that, but you know, being here and saying there's a critical gap that's not being filled for them to come in and fill it. And the county doesn't have to pay a full-time resource to do it. You're paying a firm whose job is to do this. I think it's been money very well spent.
Yeah, and I think if they,
I think it's that.
yeah, and plus if they're doing it for 8 counties. They have a lot larger skill set than if you hired somebody,
Mhm.
you know, it's,
That motion,
yep, so moved.
or second,
I'll second.
further discussion? All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Carried.
yeah, thanks for bringing that forward, Mike.
Yeah.
Certainly. Thank you.
Like you say, it's part of our mission.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's. Conceded. Not around.
No, we're still meeting every other week. Tracy is representing CCDC and Auburn IDA. Jenny Haynes, the city, and Bob Griffin is SPDC. We're all trying to make sure we're covering
Oh, good.
everything
Yeah.
as often as possible. So they've been closely
That's nice to
SBDC.
hear. Yeah, that's awesome.
Are there any other CETA functions that are going undone?
Not at this time. One of the things SBDC let me know later in the year is a big concern I had was things the IDA doesn't do directly or historically is something like CFA grant applications. I'm usually saying you're paying me to do IDA work. I try to keep it to IDA work unless that client is saying, I'll also apply for IDA benefits. That's what that school project is. But others are not looking for that. SBDC has let us know they can assist with those projects. So that's going to help cover a huge gap. They also have a research network. So they have access to resources we don't need to buy. So I had asked SBDC in preparation of putting together an investor deck to say, you know, welcome to Cayuga County, let's showcase our assets. Got a ton of data from them using resources that are, you know, paid to subscribe, get all of that. So, and they're providing that for free.
So we're in pretty good shape, you think?
I think we're in pretty good shape. The number of clients they helped over this last year is certainly down from where it was the prior year, but I've certainly been sending them more clients as we've been getting paid a little bit more of, you know, I was told to call the IDA and I look at the size of the project and say, well, the IDA really can't help you here, but SBDC can.
Mhm, that's great.
And then there's other clients that are getting prepped up to do an IDA application. As I mentioned earlier, SBDC is helping them, you know, put together that application. So it's coming in much better than a rough cut of what that owner may be doing.
It sounds like a terrific partnership.
Yeah, it's good fit.
That's all I can say. on it.
Could give us.
No, good work.
Could give us some partner too if we do. Rent some property.
Yeah,
So if we didn't approve the money, what would happen?
They-
Services.
you're losing services, so they have, as I said, resources. People stationed throughout all of these counties. And they're in person 2 to 3 days a week. If they can't pay that person, they can't put somebody there, which means. Small businesses within Cayuga County. Who can they go to? So, that's the drawback.
That seems like a very reasonable fee.
Yeah,
More than that, I would say that's really substantial.
second session.
Some items I can speak to on that, it would be. Oh, I can't make the motion. Contract negotiations and acquisition or disposition of real property.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we're in.
Tracy, if you could stop recording. Steve, could you stay on?
Hey, you'd like me to stay on?
Yes, at least for this first part.
Okay,
If not, motion to adjourn.
Yeah, don't, oh, sorry. Take it all mine, yeah.
What's the news with the county?
There's no.
Is there any money for any
Did we adjourn?
economic development?
The motion was, but I don't think it was voted.
I'll second.
What's CCDC doing?
Well, maybe.
Nobody knows.
Do
Can
you want to come
vote
on
the
the meeting?
motion to adjourn?
There's a motion in the second.
All in favor?
Aye. He's not here.
Thanks, Justin.
You're
Justin.
always in the loop.
No, I'm not.
And then you were